Hi everyone, welcome back to i-TUTOR IAS Academy Tamilnadu History NCERT series. So today we are discussing one of the important unit or topic. It's a chapter 20, the Mughal Empire. Okay, so why it's important? The Mughal Empire, the time period is 1526 to 1857. So it's a medieval, it's a connecting dynasty of medieval history and modern history. It's a critical to history and exam point of view for uniting the Indian subcontinent under a centralized administration, fostering profound cultural synthesis like Indo-Persian, and leaving lasting architectural, economic, and administrative legacies. And it is a premier topic in exams like UPSC due to its structural impact on revenue, military, that means Mansabdari system, and societal evolution. Okay, so the core topic of medieval India. This is the core topic of medieval India, and the exam constantly features questions on the administrative, social, and cultural aspect of the Mughals and key ruler policies. Details knowledge of the policies of major rulers like Babur, Akbar, Shah Jahan, Aurangzeb is required, particularly Akbar's administrative reform and religious policy is important, and significant battle and timelines. The Battle of Panipat 1526, expansion, decline, as well as foreign traveler accounts and frequent exam subjects. Art and architecture analysis. Questions often covered the evolution of Mughal painting and architectural achievements such as Fatehpur Sikri and Red Fort, and socio-economic structure. Topic like a revenue system, land reform, and structure of the army are important for analytical questions. Okay, so the for exam point of view, these are the important topics, subtopics from Mughal Empire in history, and the Mughal legacy remained pivotal, influencing modern administration, culture, and heritage, making it an essential subject for historical understanding and competitive examination. Okay, so we will, discuss further. So here is one, map of Mughal dynasty. Indian map is available. Google also, you can Google it. Okay, the area they covered, and the political history we will discuss further, and the from the starting there is Babur. Okay, the Babur time period is 1526 to 1530. Babur was the founder of the Mughal Empire in India. So the here is picture also, Babur picture, and his original name was Sahiruddin Muhammad, and he was related to Timur from his father's side and to Chengiz Khan through his mother. And hope you remember, Timur and Chengiz Khan history we already discussed. And Babur succeeded his father Umar Shaikh Mirza as the ruler of Fargana, but he was soon defeated by his distant relative and as a result lost his kingdom. He became a wanderer for some time till he captured Kabul from one of his uncles, and then Babur took interest in conquering India and launched four expeditions between 1519 and 1523. Okay, and military conquest. On the eve of Babur's invasion of India, there were five prominent Muslim rulers: the Sultans of Delhi, Gujarat, Malwa, Bengal, and Deccan, and two prominent Hindu rulers, that is Rana Sankha of Mewar and the Vijayanagar Empire. And the last chapter we discussed about Vijayanagar Empire. And once again, by the end of 1525, Babur started from Kabul to conquer India, and he occupied Lahore easily by defeating its governor, Daulat Khan Lodi, and then he proceeded against Delhi, where Ibrahim Lodi was the Sultan. On 21st April 1526, the first battle of Panipat took place between Babur and Ibrahim Lodi, who was killed in the battle. Okay, so that is the first battle of Panipat between Babur and Ibrahim Lodi. The time period is 1526. Okay, Babur's success was due his cavalry and artillery. Babur occupied Delhi and sent his son Humayun to seize Agra. And Babur proclaimed himself as Emperor of Hindustan. Okay, and his subsequent victories over Rana Sanga and Afghans secured his position as the ruler of India. Rana Sanga of Mewar was a great Rajput warrior. He marched against Babur and in the Battle of Kanau, that is near Agra, held in 1527. Babur won a decisive victory over him, and Babur assumed the title Ghazi. Okay, and in 1528, Babur captured Chanderi from another Rajput ruler, Medini Rai. In the next year, Babur defeated the Afghans in the Battle of Gogra in Bihar. By these victories, Babur consolidated his power in India, and Babur died at Agra in 1530 at the age of 47. Okay, so that's the time period of Babur. And estimate of Babur is Babur was a great statesman and man of solid achievements. He was also a great scholar in Arabic and Persian language, and Turkey was his mother tongue. He wrote his memoirs Tuzuk-i-Babari in Turkey language. It provides a vivid account of India, and he frankly confessed his own failures without suppressing any fact. And he was also a naturalist and described the flora and fauna of India. Okay, so that's the time period of it's the father of Mughal Empire. Okay, so founder of Mughal Empire, and founder of Mughal Empire, Babur. And second one is Humayun, and Humayun, the eldest son of Babur. Okay, the time period of Humayun is 1530 to 1540, and this is a picture of Humayun. Okay, and Humayun means fortune, but he remained the most unfortunate ruler of the Mughal Empire. Humayun had three brothers, that is Kamran, Askari, and Hintal, and he was the eldest son of Babur. And Humayun divided the empire among his brothers, but this proved to be great blunder on his part. And Kamran was given Kabul and Kandahar, and Sambal and Alwar were given to Askari and Hintal. When Humayun was busy with fighting the Afghans in the east, he got the news that Bahadur Shah of Gujarat was advancing towards Delhi. Therefore, he hastily concluded a treaty with the Afghan leader Sher Khan, that is later Sher Shah. Okay, and proceeded towards Gujarat. And Humayun captured Gujarat from Bahadur Shah and appointed Askari as its governor. But soon, Bahadur Shah recovered Gujarat from Askari, who fled from there. And in the meantime, Sher Khan became powerful in the eastern side. Okay, and Humayun marched against him, and in the Battle of Chauza, held in 1539. And Sher Khan destroyed the Mughal army, and Humayun escaped from there. And Humayun reached Agra to negotiate with his brothers, but as they were not cooperative, Humayun was forced to fight with the Sher Khan alone in the Battle of Bilgram in 1540. Okay, and after this battle was also known as Battle of Kanauj. And Humayun was thoroughly defeated by Sher Khan. After losing his kingdom, Humayun became an exile for the next 15 years. Okay. Next is Sir Indragam. The founder of the Sir dynasty was Sher Shah, whose original name was Farid. And he was the son of Hasan Khan, a Jagidar of Sasaram in Bihar. And later Farid served under the Afghan ruler of Bihar, who gave him the title Sher Khan. Okay. And for his bravery, we have already seen how he defeated Humayun at the Battle of Chauza and became the ruler of Delhi in 1540. The Sir Indragam time was 1540 to 1555. And Shesha Sur, the picture of Shesha Sur is here. Shesha waged extensive war with the Rajput and expanded his empire, and his conquests include Punjab, Malwa, Sindh, Multan, and Bundelkhand. You just pinpoint these areas in your map study. Okay, and his empire consisted of the whole of North India except Assam, Nepal, Kashmir, and Gujarat. Okay, so that is the uh, time period of Shesha Sur. And Sher Shah's administration was about, although his rule lasted for 5 years, and he organized a brilliant administrative system. The central government consisted of several departments. The king was assisted by four important ministers, Who are they? Diwan-i Wazarat, also called Wazir, in charge of revenue and finance, and Diwan-i Ariz, in charge of army, and Diwan-i Rasalat, the foreign minister is Diwan-i Rasalat, and Diwan-i Insha, minister of communication. Okay, these are the uh, four important ministers under Shesha's administration. And Shesha's empire was divided into 47 sarkars. Chief Shikadar, that is law and order, and Chief Munsif is their judge, were the two officers in charge of the administration in each sarkar, and each sarkar was divided into several parganas. And Shikadar, that is military officer, Amin, that is land revenue, Fordar for treasurer, and Karkuns for accountants were in charge of the administration of each pargana. And there were also many administrative units called iktas. And the land revenue administration was well organized under Shesha. Land survey was carefully done, and all cultivable land were classified into three classes: good, middle, and bad. And the state's share was one third of the average produce, and it was paid in cash or crop. His revenue reforms increased the revenue of the state. And Sher Shah introduced new silver coin called Dam, and they were in circulation till 1835. Okay. And Shesha had also improved the communication by laying four important highways. They were: one is Sonargaon to Sindh, Agra to Burhampur, and Jodhpur to Chittor, and Lahore to Multan. So rest houses were built on the highways for the conveniences of the travelers. Police was efficiently reorganized, and crime was less during this his regime. And the military administration was also efficiently reorganized, and Shesha borrowed many ideas like the branding of horses from Alauddin Khalji. Okay, so this is the administration under Sher Shah, and after Humayun. And estimate of Shesha. Shesha remained a pious Muslim and generally tolerant towards other religion. He employed Hindus in important offices, and he was also a patron of art and architecture. He built a new city on the bank of the river Yamuna near Delhi, and now the old fort called Purana Killa. Okay, now also Purana Killa in Delhi, and its mosque is a long surviving. He also built a mausoleum at Zazaram, and which is considered as one of the masterpiece of Indian architecture. And Shesha also patronized the learned men. And Malik Mahmud Jayasi wrote the famous Hindi work Padmavat during his reign. And after Shesha's death in 1545, his successor ruled till 1555 when Humayun reconquered India. Okay, so this is the in between period of Humayun. Okay, so from 1540 to 1555, in between Shesha came here, and after that Humayun again ruling this areas. That is around 1555 to 1556. And Humayun left India in 1540. He married Hamida Banu Begum on his way to Sindh. When they stayed in Amarkot, a Hindu kingdom ruled by Rana Prasad, Akbar was born in 1542. Okay, around 1542, the Akbar was born, and Humayun then proceeded to Iran and sought help from its ruler. He later defeated his brothers Kamran and Askari, and in the meantime, the Sur dynasty in India was declining rapidly. And in 1555, Humayun defeated the Afghans and recovered the Mughal throne again. And after 6 months, he died in 1556 due to his fall from the staircase of his library. And although Humayun was not a good general and warrior, he was kind and generous. He was also learned and student of mathematics, astronomy, and astrology. He also loved painting and wrote poetry in Persian languages. So next is from 1556 to 605. Okay, that's the period of Akbar. So picture of Akbar. And Akbar was one of the greatest monarch of India, and he succeeded the throne after his father Humayun's death. And but his position was dangerous because Delhi was seized by the Afghans. Their commander in chief Hemu was in charge of it, and in second battle of Panipat. And hope you remember the first battle of Panipat, time of Babur, and the second battle of Panipat in 1556. Hemu was almost on the point of victory, but an arrow pierced his eye and he became unconscious. His army fled, and fortunate favored Akbar, and the Mughal victory was decisive. During the first 5 years of Akbar's reign, Bayram Khan acted as his regent. He consolidated the Mughal Empire. After 5 years, he was removed by Akbar due to court intrigues and sent to Mecca. But on his way, Bayram was killed by an Afghan. And Akbar's military conquests were extensive. He conquered northern India from Agra to Gujarat and then from Agra to Bengal. He strengthened the northwest frontier. Later, he went to the Deccan. And the Akbar relationship with the Rajput is very interesting. The Rajput policy of Akbar was notable, and he married the Rajput princess, the daughter of Raja Bahramal. It was a turning point in the history of Mughals. And Rajputs served the Mughals for 4 generations, and many of them rose to the position of military generals. And Raja Bhagavan Das and Raja Mansingh were given senior position in the administration by Akbar. Okay, and the Jodha Akbar movie. Hope you all of you know Jodha Akbar. So this is the same story of Rajput relationship with the Akbar. Okay, and Raja Bhagavan Das and Raja Mansingh were given senior position in the administration by Akbar. And one by one, all Rajput states submitted to Akbar. Okay. And but the Rana of Mewar continued to defy despite several defeats, and the Battle of Haldigati, Rana Pratap Singh was severely defeated by the Mughal army led by Man Singh in 1576. Following the defeat of Mewar, most of the leading Rajput rulers had accepted Akbar's suzerainty. And Akbar's Rajput policy was combined with a broad religious toleration. He abolished the pilgrim tax and later the jizya. And the Rajput policy of Akbar proved to be beneficial to Mughal state as well as to the Rajput. The alliance secured to Mughals the services of the bravest warriors. On the other hand, it ensured peace in Rajasthan, and a number of Rajput who joined the Mughal service rose to important position. Okay, so that is a relationship with Rajputs. Religious policy. Akbar's religious policy also interesting. Akbar rose to fame in the pages of history due to his religious policy, and various factors were responsible for his religious ideas. The most important among them were his early contact with the Sufi saints, the teaching of his tutor Abdul Latif, his marriage with the Rajput woman, his association with the intellectual giants like Sheikh Mubarak, and his two illustrious son, that is Abul Faisi and Abul Fazl, and his ambition to establish an empire in Hindustan. In the beginning of his life, Akbar was pious Muslim. Soon after marrying Jodha Bhai, the Rajput princess of Amber, he abolished the pilgrim taxes, and in 1562 he abolished jizya. He allowed his Hindu wives to worship their own gods. Okay, and later he became the skeptical Muslim, and in around 1575 he ordered for the construction of Ibadat Khana, that is house of worship, at his new capital Fatehpur Sikri. And Akbar invited learned scholars from all religions like Hinduism, Jainism, Christianity, and Zoroastrianism. And he disliked the interference of the Muslim ulemas in political matters. In 1579, he issued the Infallibility Decree, by which he asserted his religious powers. And in 1582, he promulgated a new religion called Din Ilahi, or Divine Faith. That is the new religion called Deen Ilahi, or divine faith, and it believes in one God. That is the Akbar's religion policy. and it contained good point of all religions, and its basis was rational. It upholds no dogma, and it was aimed at bridging the gulf that separated different religions. And however, his new faith proved to be a failure. It fizzled out after his death, and even during his lifetime, it had only 15 followers, including Birbal. Akbar did not compel anyone to his new faith. Okay, so it's more clear in that movie. Okay, Jodha Akbar, please watch that movie. And next is land revenue. Okay, Akbar's land revenue administration. Akbar made some experiments in the land revenue administration with the help of Raja Todarmal. The land revenue system of Akbar was called Sapti or Bandobast system. Okay, Sapti or Bandobast system, and it was further improved by Raja Todarmal, and it was known as the Sala system, which was completed in 1580. And by this system, Todarmal introduced a uniform system of land measurement. The revenue was fixed on the average yield of land assessed on the basis of past 10 years. And the land was also divided into four categories. That is Polaj, that is cultivated every year, and Parodi, once in 2 years. Chachar, that is once in 3 or 4 years, and Binjar, once in 5 or more years. That is the four divisions of land, and payment of revenue was made generally in cash. Okay. So that is the revenue system administration. Mansabdari system. Akbar introduced the Mansabdari system in his administration. Under this system, every officer was assigned a rank. That is rank. It means Mansab. Okay. And the lowest rank was 10, and the highest was 5,000 for the nobles. Princes of royal blood receive even higher ranks. The rank were divided into two, Sat and Savar. ZAT, Sat and Savar, the rank divided into two. Sat means personal, and it fixed the personal status of a person. Savar rank indicate the number of cavalry of a person who was required to maintain, and every Savar had to maintain at least two horses. The Mansab rank was not hereditary. All appointments and promotions as well as dismissals were directly made by the emperors. Okay, so that is the administration and policies of Akbar. And next is Jahangir. The period of Jahangir after Akbar, the 1605 to 1627. So this is a picture of Akbar. Sorry, Jahangir. And when Akbar died, Prince Salim succeeded with the title Jahangir, conqueror of world, in 1605. And Jahangir's rule witnessed a spate of rebellion. His son Khusru revolt, but was defeated and imprisoned. One of his supporters, Guru Arjun, the fifth Sikh Guru, was beheaded. So, okay. Noor Jahan. In 1611, Jahangir married Mehruniza, who was known as Noor Jahan, light of world. Okay, so Jahangir married Noor Jahan. Her father, Iti Madudolla, was a respectable person, and he was given the post of chief diwan. Other member of her family also benefited from this alliance, and Noor Jahan's elder brother Asaf Khan was appointed as Khan-i-Zaman, a post reserved for the nobles. In 1612, Afzal Khan's daughter, that is Arjunman Banu Begum, later known as Mumtaz, married Jahangir's third son, that is Princess Kuram, that is later Shah Jahan. Mumtaz and Shah Jahan's love story, the symbol of, symbol is Taj Mahal is there in Agra. Okay. And it was believed by some historians that Noor Jahan formed a group of junta, and this led to two factions in Mughal court. This drove Shah Jahan into rebellion against his father in 1622, since he felt that Jahangir was completely under Noor Jahan's influence. However, this view is not accepted by some other historians. Still, Jahangir became weak due to ill health. He only took important political decisions, and it is revealed from his autobiography. However, it is clear that Noor Jahan dominated the royal household and set new fashions based on Persian traditions. She encouraged Persian art and culture in the court. She was a constant companion of Jahangir and even joined him in his hunting. And the rise of Shah Jahan was due to his personal ambition. He rose in revolt against his father, who ordered him to go to Kandahar. This rebellion distracted the activities of the empire for 4 years. After Jahangir's death in 1627, Shah Jahan reached Agra with the support of the nobles and the army. Noor Jahan was given a pension and lived a retired life till her death 18 years later. So next time period is Shah Jahan. Okay, so please remember this time period. First of all, Babur, then Humayun, and in between Shesha is there, and after that Akbar's time period, then Jahangir, and companion with Noor Jahan also, and after that Shah Jahan. The Shah Jahan time period is 1627 to 1658. Okay, so here is one painting, Shah Jahan and Mumtaz painting is there. And Shah Jahan launched a prolonged campaign in the northwest frontier to recover Kandahar and other ancestral lands. The Mughal army lost more than 5,000 lives during the successive invasion between 1639 and 1647. Then Shah Jahan realized the futility of his ambition and stopped fighting. His Deccan policy was more successful, and he defeated the foes of Ahmednagar and annexed it. And both Bijapur and Golconda signed a treaty with the emperor. Shah Jahan carved four Mughal provinces in the Deccan, that is Kandesh, Berar, Telangana, and Daulatabad. They were put under the control of his son Aurangzeb. Okay. Next is War of Succession. The last years of Shah Jahan's reign were clouded by a bitter war of succession among his four sons. One is Dara Shekho, Crown Prince, Shuja, Governor of Bengal, Aurangzeb, Governor of Deccan, and Murad Baksh, Governor of Malwa and Gujarat. Towards the end of 1657, Shah Jahan fell ill at Delhi for some time, but later recovered. But the prince started fighting for the Mughal throne, and Aurangzeb emerged victorious in the struggle. He entered the Agra fort after defeating Dara. He forced Shah Jahan to surrender, and Shah Jahan was confined to the female apartments in the Agra fort and strictly put under vigil. But he was not ill treated, and Shah Jahan lived for 8 long years, lovingly nursed by his daughter Jahanara, and he died in 1666 and buried beside his wife's grave in the Taj Mahal, symbol of love. Okay, and next is Aurangzeb time period in Mughal Empire. This is a picture of Aurangzeb, and the time period of Aurangzeb is 1658 to 1707. Aurangzeb was one of the ablest of the Mughal kings, and he assumed the title Alamgir, world conqueror. His military campaign in his first 10 years of reign were a great success. He suppressed the minor revolts, but he faced serious difficulties in the latter part of his reign. And the Santamis and also the Sikh revolted against him. And these revolts were induced by his harsh religious policy. And this is just opposite of Akbar. Deccan policy. What is Deccan policy? The Deccan policy of Mughal started from the reign of Akbar, who conquered Kandesh and Berar. Jahangir fought against Malik Ambar of Ahmednagar, and during the Shah Jahan's reign, Aurangzeb, as governor of Deccan, followed an aggressive Deccan policy. When he became Mughal emperor for the first 25 years, he concentrated on the northwest frontier. At that time, the Maratha ruler Shivaji carved out of an independent Maratha kingdom in the territory of North and South Konkan. Okay. To contain the spread of Marathas, Aurangzeb decided to invade Bijapur and Golconda. It's a southern side, and he defeated Sikandar Shah of Bijapur and annexed his kingdom. Then he proceeded against Golconda and eliminated the Qutub Shahi dynasty, and it was also annexed by him. In fact, the destruction of the Deccan kingdom was a political blunder on the part of Aurangzeb. The barriers between the Mughals and the Marathas was removed, and there ensured a direct confrontation between them. Also, his Deccan campaign exhausted the Mughal treasury, and according to J.N. Sarkar, the Deccan also ruined the Aurangzeb. So that is a historian J.N. Sarkar's statement. And what is the religious policy of Aurangzeb? Aurangzeb was staunch and orthodox Muslim in his personal life, and his ideal was to transform India into Islamic state. He created a separate department to enforce moral codes under a high-powered officer called Muhattabis. Muhtasib, and drinking was prohibited. Cultivation and use of bhang and other drug were banned. Aurangzeb forbade music in the Mughal court, and he discontinued the practices of Jarokha Darshan, and he also discontinued the celebration of Dasra, and royal astronomers and astrologers were also dismissed from services. And initially, Aurangzeb banned the construction of new Hindu temple and repair of old temples. Then he began a policy of destroying Hindu temples. The celebrated temples at Mathura and Benares were reduced to ruins. In 1679, he reimposed jizya and pilgrim tax. The Akbar time, they just removed, but in the Aurangzeb time, then again it's reimposed. He was also no tolerant of other Muslim sects, and the celebration of Muharram was stopped, and his invasion against the Deccan Sultanates were partly due to his hatred of the Shia faith. He was also against the Sikh, and he executed the ninth Sikh Guru Tej Bahadur, and this had resulted in the transformation of Sikh into warring community, and his religious policy was responsible for turning the Rajputs, the Marathas, and Sikh into the enemies of Mughal Empire. It had also resulted in the rebellion of the Jats of Mathura and the Satnamis of Mewar. Therefore, Aurangzeb was held responsible for the decline of the Mughal Empire. So almost he is the official last empire, and this is the destruction and the negative phase of Mughal history. And personality and character of Aurangzeb. In his private life, Aurangzeb was industrious and disciplined. He was very simple in food and dress, and he earned money for his personal expenses by copying Quran and selling those copies. He did not consume wine. He was learned and proficient in Arabic and Persian languages, and he was a lover of book. He was devoted to his religion and conducted prayers 5 times a day, and he strictly observed the Ramzan fasting. In the political field, Aurangzeb committed serious mistakes. He misunderstood the true nature of the Maratha movement and antagonized them. Also, he failed to solve the Maratha problem and left an open sore. His policy towards Shia Deccan Sultanates also proved to be a wrong policy, and his religious policy was also not successful. Aurangzeb was an orthodox Sunni Muslim, and but his move to apply his religious thought rigidly in a non-Muslim society was a failure, and his antagonistic policies towards non-Muslim did not help him to rally the Muslim to his side. And on the other hand, it had strengthened political enemies of the Mughal Empire. So this is the personality and character of Aurangzeb, and so causes for downfall of the Mughals. What are the causes? The Mughal Empire declined rapidly after the death of Aurangzeb. The Mughal court became scene of faction among the nobles. The weakness of the empire was exposed when Nadir Shah imprisoned the Mughal emperor and looted Delhi in 1739. The causes for the downfall of the Mughal Empire were varied. To some extent, the religious and Deccan policies of the Aurangzeb contributed to its decline, and the weak successor and demoralization of the Mughal army also paved the way for it. And the vastness of the empire became unwieldy. The financial difficulties due to continuous wars led to the decline. The neglect of sea power by the Mughals was felt when the European began to settle in India. Further, The invasion of Nadir Shah and Ahmad Shah Abdali weakened the Mughal states. Thus, the decline and downfall of the Mughal Empire was due to the combination of political, social, and economic factor. So, this is the major causes for the downfall of Mughals, and this is a you know uh, this is about all about Mughal Emperor and Mughal dynasty. So here is a timeline of Mughal emperors. Babur is there, Humayun. So this is Babur time 1526 to 30. Then Humayun, the first time period is 1530 to 40, and after that 1555 to 1556. Then Akbar the Great. After that Jahangir, Shah Jahan, Aurangzeb. So that's the end of the Mughal history, and so it's all about it. So far we discussed the all Mughal rulers one by one, uh, the political history of Mughal emperor from Babur to Aurangzeb we discussed, and achievements of Babur and the difficulties of Humayun. Sir Indirgram, that is Sher Shah's administration, we discussed between Humayun's time period and the reign of Akbar, his administration, Mansabdari system, religious policies we discussed separately, and Jahangir, Shah Jahan, and the war of succession, Deccan policy of Aurangzeb and his religious policy, and the causes of decline of the Mughal Empire also we discussed in the end of this chapter. Okay, so in between any doubts you can contact us anytime, and for more content do like, share, and subscribe our channel. Thank you so much.